What about today's jobs report? We still have a long way to go to make a dent in unemployment. You got to hire a lot of B school students for that. So let's continue the conversation with Joe Weisenthal, the editor of BusinessInsider.com. He joins us live from New York to discuss. A lot of economists are expecting to see a surprise on the upside, Joe, as you know. But is that going to be perceived by the street as an outlier or extrapolated that we're actually in recovery mode after all?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to say. There's a pretty big range of what people expect. Obviously, everyone's just looking at the private sector number because the census is pared back this month. The macro numbers for the last month and a half have been consistently weak and disappointing. So if it's high, that'll be great. Even if it's mediocre, that might be great. In fact, in recent days, it seems that the bias has kind of switched so that even like a mediocre average number is now a relief. Markets are going up on that. So it's hard to say, you know, obviously 1 month doesn't make a trend and, you know, it could be weak and that wouldn't make a trend either. But I think the markets would be incredibly relieved if we actually got a number at the high end of the range, maybe 150K on the private sector, as some have expected. That'd be pretty, I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, but if it's not necessarily a trend, you know that every month, pretty much, this has been a big momentum changer for markets, and we're just now in the black on the S&P, but just barely. Do you think the jobs report is going to kick us back down on the market?
I mean, I don't know exactly where it's going to come in. As I said, I think probably actually the market might be biased to jump up unless it's a really bad number, because the market, people are presuming it's going to be weak, even if there are some people looking for sort of a high-end surprise. The fact is that markets have recently become pretty conditioned to expect bad macro news. I mean, we had this divergence recently with earnings season, where earnings were pretty solid while the economic numbers were weak. If it's anywhere decent to mediocre, I wouldn't be surprised to see the market be happy about that.
Yeah, and you weren't necessarily surprised when you posted about Christina Romer and the questionable timing of her ouster right around the big jobs number. She's typically the woman that sent out, as you were saying, this post-release spin. So who's going to do that, and are you going to miss that today?
I'm not sure. Yeah, you had to feel sorry for her over the last several months because we have had this weak string of weak reports, and it was her job to come on the next day, come on TV, write a post explaining how it was a really good report, and obviously, you know, always with the line, "Oh, of course we have more to do, but we're going in the right direction." So you kind of had to feel a little sorry for the position that she was in, very awkward, and especially considering the fact that she didn't really have the ear of the president apparently. So not only was she put in this spin job position, but her policies weren't really getting enacted. She wasn't really the one inside the Oval Office helping to guide decisions. So you could totally see why she would want to get out of Washington and go back to Berkeley and be an academic. If I were in her position, I'd probably want to do the same thing.
Who would want to step up and take that job now, Joe? How would you spin it?
Yeah, that's a good... I mean, you know, I don't know who is likely to get it. And as miserable as it is, it's a great profile raiser, I would imagine. I mean, 10 times as many people now, well, probably 100 times as many people now know who Christina Romer is than they did before, and I'm sure her speaking fees and all, you know, she's going to get invited to a lot more stuff than she was before. So as miserable as that job is to sort of be out there and spin bad news, and on the other hand, maybe the economy is 1 month away from turning around, in which case you could come in and be a hero and start explaining actually good reports. And so I don't think the White House will have a hard time finding some economist to fill that job.
Put your hat in the ring, my friend. You're a wise man, Mr. Joe Weisenthal, editor of BusinessInsider.com, stays with us. We're going to have another segment with him coming up.